I learned to stop asking people for permission for things that I wanted to do with my life. I did HBCU Venture Capital Fellowship, so that's more venture capital. So like you said, like I've been bouncing in different spaces because I'm multimedia and I'm an entrepreneur, and I didn't find a space. I had to kind of like, I had to go find those spaces.
You had to create it before it existed.
Exactly. I had to create it before it existed, and then trying to find little pieces of what exists and just kind of make it my own. And that led me to moving up to the DMV area from Atlanta and kind of continuing to blossom. So everything that I learned in Hampton, in high school and college, has led me to the present day Des.
Welcome everybody to another edition of the Tech Woke Podcast. I'm your host, Chris, RMS specialist inside the GovTech space. And in today's podcast, we have a great guest. Her name is Desiree Jones. She's the author of the book, Hey, Nice to Meet You. She also is the tech founder of Hey, Follow Up. And without further ado, Desiree Jones, it's good to meet you.
Hello, Chris. Thank you for inviting me. Happy to be here.
I'm great to have you on the podcast.
Yes.
I know it's a great Saturday, and I appreciate you spending some time on the podcast.
Yes, I'm very excited. You have a great podcast.
Do you mind just telling me about like in high school and what led you to kind of get into tech, like what things you were doing?
Sure. So I'm a creative techie. I go by that because I do a lot of video editing, content editing. I've always been curious about different tools and how they work. I started off a Windows Movie Maker, doing different presentations and learning about different softwares in the video space, which has been really cool. So I started that in high school, and then that led to college, where I started using like Adobe Premiere and the Final Cut, and that led me to starting my first company, Promo Jones, video editing. And it's been a crazy journey ever since. But I've always loved video. I've always loved building things, but also from a digital perspective, looking into how to create things, in media, in tech. So
Like, because you know it was transition, so like in a content marketing, digital marketing type situation, right? So
exactly.
you've seen the future.
Yes, I've seen the future, and the future is nice.
Okay. And that's why you're gifted.
Yes, gifted. Gifted is a thing. God bless the gifted folks, because it's a lot. It's definitely a lot.
So was you in tech at that time? Because I know was you getting into editing around that time?
I was.
Media? Okay.
The first editing tool I used was Windows Movie Maker.
I love Windows. Yeah, I used to use it.
That was my favorite. I used Windows Movie Maker, and then I used iMovie, and then I really didn't start diving into it like too deep until I got to college. And that's when I was like, okay, I think I can do this. And that was back when Vine existed.
I know Vine. Vine was yeah.
I loved Vine.
That was old TikTok.
So if you know about Vine, you know what it is. But the moment that Instagram started doing video, that's when I was like, I think that was like 15, 16? I was like, I feel like more people are gonna need video. And not only that, I think more people are gonna need help with these videos.
Yeah.
So I started my company, Promo Jones, and it's been rocking ever since, really.
Nah, you counting it. Like even with me, when I used to use iMovie, was it Movie Maker or whatever Windows? I mean, back in the day, I played this game called RuneScape.
Okay.
So
I heard that.
I made my first video for Rune, and I was so happy. That's when YouTube didn't pay anything.
Right.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I liked iMovie. I like Windows Movie Maker. I think I first started using it for an internship somewhere, and she was like, why do you keep making all these videos? And I was like, well, you're trying to get sales.
Basically.
So how are you supposed to tell people what you do? And she didn't get the vision, but she still follows me. So I hope you see it now.
She see the vision now.
You see the vision now.
Like you and me, I was like, I'm gonna do a podcast. You don't have the personality. You can't do this. You can't do that. But hey, the same people that said, they're the same people. Hey, can you help me get into cybersecurity?
Oh.
I'm like, huh? I was like, you the same person I ain't know that.
Probably watching now. Hello.
So tell me about college. Like, what? Like, I know you started your company. Tell me everything that led up to starting the company. What you major in college? Tell me about everything about that.
Ooh, college was fun. So I went to Hampton University. We gonna say it's the real HU. I said what I said.
I went to Howard.
Well, I said.
My father from Howard. My father. So I gotta say what I gotta say.
Hampton is we are the standard of excellence. Okay, get into it. But yeah, so I went to Hampton, and ironically, my dad told me about it. I actually got into Howard.
Okay.
Hampton gave me more money.
Okay. Shout out to Hampton.
Shout out to Hampton. So I went to Hampton. I started off getting my MBA major degree, but then I fell in love with video. So I fell in love with it last minute though, because I decided to switch my major junior year, second semester. So right before it was time to graduate, I was like, let's just shift gears, because the MBA program was geared toward accounting, and I had a panic attack of taking an accounting test. I was like, I'm not about to do this. Or if you're doing HR, and I'm like, I ain't trying to do that either. So I was like, let me switch to marketing. And it took networking to get me to talk to my professors and talk to the counselor and do all of that. And I managed to graduate on time.
Congrats. And tell me about networking and with your
Yes.
professor. Because even me, I can go back to Bowie State. My professors still know me and how they can help you with jobs and things like that in the future.
Oh yeah. So like talking with teachers, used to talking with teachers, right? Yeah. Oh yeah.
Professors.
Professors, teachers, they're very helpful. I think a lot of times they're not going to give you the answer unless you ask for the answer. And sometimes, being a professor is not easy. Like God bless all the professors because it's hard work. But if you continue to show up, you don't show up like late, or you don't like you want to make sure the teacher knows who you are, because if they don't and you're trying to ask for something, they're like, well, who are you? You don't even,
Basically.
you know what I mean? So my professors were pretty solid. We still follow each other on LinkedIn. That's why you need to get a LinkedIn, because you can follow your professors, and you never know who's watching and supporting along the way. So they've been great. So I love my
And
professors.
I agree with you on that because it's like sometimes you just try to pop in a professor because you got an F or something. But if you, as long as you got the connection with them, they'll help you for life.
For sure, for life. Like even going to like the Howard Hampton games or like any type of HBCU event, you'll run across your teachers, and they'll be like, "Well, how have you been?" And so just share more information and continue to grow. In life.
So and while you're in college, you're networking with people that you've seen later in life, and probably you do business with also. How do you do that? Like,
Well,
I didn't know that when I was in college.
I think the thing about Hampton, they taught us that kind of early on, like getting to know people, getting to know just the environment, being involved. So like I realized, because I knew, going to Hampton and going to school, that's you got 4 or 5 years, and you probably never will see these folks again.
Facts.
So you got to get to know these folks and talk to these folks. I'm also a Tthe, so shout out to a Row Alpha chapter. So I being involved in that also required networking. I think just being involved, joining an organization, it can be SGA, it can be, like a student leaders or anything like that, just creating community. When I first got to Hampton, I didn't know anything or anyone. I only knew one person there. So that was interesting. But by the time I left, I knew so many people, so much so that anytime I come back, I will always have like a place to stay, which has been a blessing.
So shout out to everybody everybody that's watching. Just know that when you're in school, make sure you're joining a fraternity, sorority, any SGA, because at the end of the day, it's about getting a job. It's about who you know. And if you don't go to an Ivy League school, it's harder.
It is harder. But I will say, even if it's like, if you're in engineering, joining an engineering like program, it doesn't have to be a Greek organization, because a lot of times, even if you're Greek, like some people use it as their identity, which is really strange. So if you don't do that, then, just be yourself, and you can be yourself joining any like organization, especially if you're trying to get into tech. So join like some type of tech, organization or program.
And then even with you, I noticed with you, like, and then when I was doing my research on you, you was just running around on campus. You was literally doing anything. You put yourself out there, and that's what I respect about you the most.
Oh, thank you. No, yeah, I really did. I learned to stop asking people for permission for things that I wanted to do with my life. Prime example, when my senior year at Hampton, there was this contest to go intern overseas in London, and the contest was like, create a video about yourself, and if you create a video, you could win, and people have to vote online. So I was like, what if I made like a little music video about my time at Hampton University?
Well, that's what it was.
Yeah, I did a music video. I did like a little song. It was called "I Go to Hampton University," and I didn't take it serious. I was like, I just want to think about something that's outside of the box. And I posted it, and when I tell you, the whole school blew it up. They were like, we love this song. Like, we need to put this on SoundCloud. It was crazy, and I ended up going to London.
Oh, that was good. You should have made that. What's that thing when you try to sell it to music label? Well, you almost became an artist out here.
No.
Okay.
They don't want. We ain't gonna talk about that. Okay. All I'm gonna say is that they have a certain aesthetic for Black women in the music industry.
Understood.
And I don't fit that, and I don't want to be put in that box. So I'd rather just focus on the business side
Okay. So you started your business while you was in school,
Yes, I
and
did.
then when you started your business, school was editing the business. What did you do? Because I know you still had the business, but
Mhm.
you started working jobs. So tell me about your work journey.
Oh gosh, I was stubborn because I was so obsessed with video and video editing. At the time, nobody, this is pre-pandemic, like nobody really cared about social media. Nobody really cared about video. So even when I switched my major to marketing, they talked about just traditional marketing, like
Mhm.
campaigns, but no one really focused on like the digital aspect of marketing. So to be honest with you, I had to create my own opportunities. And so I did just some things I did unpaid, y'all. Like I did unpaid internships. I actually I actually got fired from 2 internships, one unpaid and one paid. I think one was like biased, a little racism there. But the other one, I think it was a best way to put it is I saw what the future was in terms of video, and the vision just wasn't clicking. It wasn't clicking, Steven. It wasn't clicking. So I knew that what my vision was and what was meant to be was supposed to be for me. And I believe that there are no accidents. So the journey that I went on was it was a long one. It was a long one. I will say that. It was humbling. So I did some unpaid internships. I interned in New York for a little bit. I ended up working part-time at Home Depot
Oh yeah,
as
how
a
you talking?
seasonal. Right, I told you that we were on the road trip.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I used to work part-time at Home Depot, doing the forklift, working in the
You
garden.
was whipping it. You was whipping
I was
it.
doing the forklift. I was like doing the mulch. I think that was during the pandemic actually. So before the pandemic, I didn't have a job. During the pandemic, I was like, well, I'm still looking for a job and I need benefits. So I ended up working part time as a gardener. So I used to wake up at 4 in the morning to get to work by 5. I took a scooter to work because I didn't have a car
About that.
and lifts were expensive. So I was like, well, I'm gonna get this little scooter. And it wasn't like a city scooter. It was like we are in a suburban land on dirt and I need to take a scooter. But it was very metaphorical because I was watering flowers every day, just watering. So like literally planting seeds and being my own seed and growing myself and learning a lot. So my journey has been a long one, but after Home Depot, I was still applying for jobs. I did a lot of fellowships. So I did ColorCom fellowship. If anyone knows that about that, it's media. I did HBCU Venture Capital Fellowship, so that's more venture capital. So like you said, like I've been bouncing in different spaces because I'm multimedia and I'm entrepreneur, and I didn't find a space. I had to kind of like I had to go find those
You're the
spaces.
creative
I had to
before it existed.
Exactly. I had to create it before it existed and then trying to find little pieces of what exists and just kind of make it my own. And that led me to moving up to the DMV area from Atlanta and kind of continuing to blossom. So everything that I learned in Hampton, in high school and college, has led me to the present day Des. And I'm so proud of me for that.
And I love it because even me dealing with you and we do some business stuff or whatever,
Yeah.
you're very
Wait, you
professional.
said, hold on, you dealing with me. You can't say it like that.
Yeah. Well, I have been dealing with you. You know, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm gonna change my word. I'm just messing with you. What reverse that?
All right. Swing it back, swing it back, swing it back. I said, damn, dealing with me?
My
Nah,
bad.
I'm sorry, I'm from the South, so I just take
You're
that.
right. You're right.
Go
Nah.
ahead. Working together.
So Des, you
Yes.
know, and I was about to say that.
All right, all right.
So Des, you know, we've been working together on various things.
Yep.
So I see, and you know, being an entrepreneur, like there's some things I haven't dealt with. Like you become a professional, you know when it's time to end something if it's not, and you're just straightforward. So I like how you do. So all that prepared you for this because you did on it. You've been in it all. So you know how it is.
Yes, I've been burned. I've been disrespected. I've had to have my own backbone. I've had to vouch for myself. And it's a lonely journey too. So my parents were my mom's an entrepreneur, but not in the same like realm. Our parents want us to kind of be in a different level. So because I'm on a different level, I had to find a community where I can kind of learn and absorb from. So yeah, I'm a no nonsense Des, okay? But I do have compassion and I love what I do and I love other entrepreneurs because entrepreneurship is very hard.
It's very
It's
hard.
very hard. It's lonely. And, sometimes it's just you in the room. You can't go out. You just have to lock in.
I
So
be in the room with my cat. My cat be looking at me. I be looking at her, and then people be looking at you crazy. Be like, "Why you don't want to go out? Why you always talk about work?" Because I'm trying to grow this for my kids and
Right.
help the people that God told me to do. You know,
Right.
so like, And that's a low-key thing, they trying to hold you back too.
Mm.
You know, you never know, because sometimes people just feel insecure when you tell them. I tell people things, and I tell people impossible things on purpose. I've done everything I said I was going to do,
Mm-hmm.
but then when you at the time they'd be like, okay, you ain't gonna do it, but then when they see you do it, then they the most biggest cheerleaders. Have you seen that?
Oh, absolutely. That's why I don't really tell a lot of people what I'm doing
Yeah.
because I don't have time to hear, like, if I didn't ask you for your opinion, I'm not gonna tell you. Like,
Yeah.
because it's me and God, it's me and purpose, and it's alignment. Because the moment you speak something that shouldn't be spoken, that could alter your whole purpose. And prime example, I was supposed to do some documentary a long time ago, and somebody told me like, "Nah, don't do it, don't work on it, it's not gonna work out," and I never did it. And I don't like regret it, but it's just like since then I've told myself if there's a thought that comes into my brain, that's not an accident.
It's
Like it's
not.
very intentional and you want to have people around you that can be like supportive. Omi Bell, I hope I'm saying her name right. Omi from Black Girl Ventures. She said last night, like, you want to have yes people in your circle. It's good to have no people, but you do want to have yes people because if you have yes people, they can continue to pour into you and feed into you so you can continue to blossom and do what you need to do. So I have a lot of yes folks in my circle now.
Yeah, because you gotta have it like we talk about networking. You just
Mhm.
gotta network with the right people. Like for me, I only
Yes.
network with certain people that's my personality type.
I get that.
You know, or and then too, I've started to network up a little bit, a little people that's different.
Oh,
But
yeah.
you don't want people that's just negative that tell you you cannot do it. Because
Correct.
we're trying to do the impossible.
Literally. We
You
are
know,
trying to do the impossible.
you need some people that are what's that for delusional. You need delusional people in your circle.
A bunch of delusional people.
Yeah, you know?
You got to because it's not easy. And we're literally trying to do things that no one has ever seen.
Yeah.
So only visionaries like can understand that. And even though, we might not seem like where we are right now, but that doesn't mean it won't happen, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
So
and that's why we're like when anybody tell me, "Oh yeah, I'm doing this to try to grow my business, dude. I'm trying to start." Listen, I'm the main cheerleader. I'll check it out. Hey, listen, hey, I'm not gonna be the negative. You can't, nah, bro.
yes. I'm just an avid
Yeah,
believer in follow through because people are like, yeah, I have this idea, I want to do this, but like I still haven't seen it. I
yes,
still haven't heard it. I don't know what's going on. So I'm in a season where I'm like, okay, you have a business. What do you need help with? Like what's next? People are asking me even with the app. They're like, okay, well, how many users do you have? What's next? Like how do you want to have your strategy? So people that are asking you those questions, that makes you kind of think on a different level. But if you don't even have those answers, or you kind of just have an idea and haven't really thought too much into it, then it shows that you're not as serious. So everybody wants to be an entrepreneur until it's time to show the receipts.
yeah, like so you let's just jump ahead a little bit.
All right.
So you worked as an editor. You're currently working as an editor for a company. You have
Well, not an editor. I got a new role. I gotta tell you this.
I
I'm not
said
gonna I'm not gonna say what the role is, legal, but I have a new role and it's more of like a
so your leaders. Okay,
leadership
you okay.
strategy role. And I'm very excited about that. So yes, it's a transitional role that I really enjoy and I'm excited to really, expand on.
Okay, so what point? Because you just because I remember when I first met you, you
Yes.
started the book.
Yes.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Yes.
What point did you like? Okay, I'm gonna start at networking. Like I'm gonna start focusing on networking. Why was the importance of doing that?
Just in general networking.
Yeah, and starting the book. Why did you start the book?
Well, again, I started the book pre-pandemic, which is how crazy this all is, like pre-pandemic, because I realized as a video editor, starting my own company, I'm networking, talking to folks, and especially creatives. Creatives do not know how to network. They don't know how to talk to people. They expect people to kind of come to them.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, look at my art, look at my creativity. But like no one can see it because you're not out there. So I ran into a lot of that. A lot of videographers, a lot of photographers, they say, yeah, I do all this stuff. And then I try to meet up with them and I never hear anything back. Or like, it just kind of, ruptures. And then even as students, just graduating college, trying to keep in touch or follow up, it kind of messes up, and then going to internships and conferences, I ran into a lot of folks that are, shy or introverted, which is normal. But sometimes, when it's really time to get that job, get that role, you have to put yourself out there. So I was talking to my friend one night, and this is in my parents' house. And at the time, I had no job. And I was like, I need to do something that I feel like is like, I don't know. She's like, you're good at networking. I was like, yeah, I'm good at networking. And she was like, well, you should make a book. I was like, I could make a book. And then my brain just started clicking and it just started working. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. But this was almost 5 years ago now. So the seed was planted 5 years ago. And then throughout the duration of the journey, I just kind of did like piece by piece. So the
That's
first
good.
thing I did was like, I met someone who did book publishing and like kind of created outlines. So I made an outline of the book
Oh, you did? Okay.
for one season. So yeah, if you wanna make a book, make an outline. Just brain dump everything, and then create an outline. How many chapters do you want it to be? So that was like kind of the setting. And this is all before I moved up here. So that was like year 1, year 2-ish. And I moved up here and I was like, okay, I literally used networking to figure out how to make a book. So I was exactly. So I was like, okay, well, what's next? So okay, well, you need to design the page. You need to design how you want it to look. So I literally designed it myself. I went to Adobe InDesign. You can even use Canva, but you gotta be careful. You gotta own the rights to license it, whatever. But I used Adobe InDesign, did that. I had to learn about how to make pages and like literally from scratch. That's why this is my baby, because I literally had to do it from seed form into, what it is today. But yeah, it started off as a seed, a thought. 1 year I did the outline. Next year I did the design. The final year I saw Beyonce.
You love Beyonce. You love Beyonce. You love Beyonce. I know that for a fact.
I love Beyonce. But I will say, like, the Renaissance tour, I saw her. To all y'all that went to DC night 2 in the rain, what the crap was that? I don't know. But at that moment, I had the book, like it was kind of already done as far as design wise, but I just kind of was sitting on it for a couple months. I was like, I don't know, I'm just gonna take a break. I was in a relationship at the time, but man, no more. But I saw Beyonce and she performed in the rain.
She an OG.
She performed in the rain.
That's crazy.
And when she performed in the rain, like whole thing gave her all. She didn't do everything, but like you could tell, like she was trying to do as much as she could. And at that moment, I was like, I gotta finish this book by the end of the year. Like it has to be done. So I saw Beyonce. It was like some type of like energy and inspiration, and I was like, okay, done. So I planned the strategy. I started promoting. I went to homecoming. I did all this like for 6 months. I was like, let's go. Let's do this. And then by my birthday, December 18th, the book ended up releasing on my website. The sales were up, like, cause people knew for 6 months that I was like making this, and the rest is history. And then, ironically, the moment I got this book done on my website, like, I'm gonna get personal with you, Chris.
Let's say it.
We're gonna talk. So the moment this book was done, had my celebration with my family, everybody came. The next day I got dumped.
Dang.
And I was like, wow, that's crazy. But then I looked around and I was like, oh, I got my book. So literally the next, I took a couple, I went to therapy, all that stuff. But the next month is when I did the pitch competition for the book. Never did a pitch competition ever. And I won.
Oh, that's God. Like, it could be God. Maybe God knew it was going to happen.
What? Then I did another pitch competition and I won money. I said, oh, wait a minute.
You got something there.
This is something serious. So after I did that, I went to another conference because I won, and that helped me go to New York. And it was in New York where I was able to have the concept of an app. And that was around the same time last year. Mind blown. So fast forward, here we are a year later. The app is done.
Congrats.
The book is here.
No, you was talking about it for some years. Well, I think how long have I been doing? 2 years? About at least a year. No, at least 6 months you was talking about it.
Yeah, I think we met, it's been like 6 or 7 months.
Okay, 6 months. Yeah. And then you was talking about it for the longest. Okay, so what can you explain like the importance of networking?
Yes. The importance of networking. Networking Well, let me define networking. Okay. Networking is the ability to communicate and establish relationships to help you and others progress in their future endeavors. That's how I see networking as. Networking is important because when you want to go to a certain career, especially nowadays with tech and a bunch of layoffs and everything happening, you need a community to help you navigate these times. When you are networking, most cases you need to have intentions. What are your goals? What are you trying to do? But I consider networking just asking questions and receiving answers. But you also want to make sure that you have answers for someone who might be having questions as well. Networking is also like an exchange of value. It's not just give me this, give me this, give me this. No. Who are you? What do you have to offer? What's your perspective? That's why it's cool for me because I'm so involved in everything. Prime example, at the Black Women Marketers Conference, I was a speaker.
I saw that. Congrats.
Thank you. But guess what? After I spoke, I was doing video reels for other people that were also speaking.
And that's actually, go ahead, because when I was watching a Social Proof podcast, and they were talking about that. All you gotta do is go to a conference, do video reels for the speakers. You can make a lot of money, but congrats, but you.
Thank you. But yes, I did. But it's because I also have value. So I can talk about value and speak about value and host, but I also can help other people and serve other people. So it's not just about what I can get, but also what can I give?
Are you passionate about tech, cybersecurity, social change? Join the Tech Woke movement on Patreon. Get exclusive access to discussions on emerging tech trends, cybersecurity insights, and valuable resources to help you get hired in tech, learn from others in the community, exchange ideas, and gain skills that will help set you apart whether you're a developer, enthusiast, or looking to break into the industry. This is your space. Support the movement, stay ahead of the curve, and be a part of the change. Join us today on Patreon.com/TechWoke. I see you there. And I had to learn that too, because originally when I was networking, I wasn't going nowhere, right? Like people wasn't trying to connect. But when I actually was putting out value, doing media, and then that's when my network actually started to stick because everybody was like, okay, he has value. We can connect. So that's why my network has grown because of the value I put out. Exactly. It's the value. It's all about the value. And if you don't know what your value is, that's where you start. One of the things I say in my book, it's like, okay, you want to network, but who are you? If you don't know who you are, then how are other people supposed to, know who you are? You got to define. You don't want other people to define you because that tends to happen when you don't know who you are as well. And just building a personal brand also. So you're building a personal brand in a way, right? Absolutely. Absolutely building a personal brand. I considered personal brand is like a connection with social capital. Personal brand, social capital. Because when you're building your brand, you're establishing yourself, somebody sees you and you might not know, who the person is or whatever, but they know that you have something that can help someone else. Vice versa. Exactly. And so their personal brand and your social capital, you can leverage to help others, and also others can help you. Okay, so we define networking. Yes. Where do you find people to network with? You can honestly find them anywhere. But I will say this. It depends on, again, what are you trying to do? Okay, say I want to go talk to VCs. I need to get my book. I need some money to push my book out. All right. Okay, there's different places I can go on LinkedIn. I can go on LinkedIn. That's a good place. Or I can just go to conference. Where would I'm trying to get money for my book. What would I try to do to network with people? What would you suggest? You're trying to get money. Go to events. The money will come. So I wouldn't think about money first. I would think about the people first. Or find the people that can help you with your book journey. Right. So going to VC events. So there's a lot of VC mixers, depending on where you're located. There's a bunch of mixers, a bunch of conferences. You can do LinkedIn, joining like small groups on LinkedIn. There's a lot of different communities you can have. Also on Facebook too, like just joining groups. But I personally like going to events. So if you see any type of like venture capital event, just go, and you just never know who will be there. Okay, let's change that. Let's define these events. So you got mixers, you got conferences, you got workshops. If I miss anyone, but those are the types of events you can go to, right? Did I miss anyone? Yes.
That's most of them. Classes, if you want to learn something.
Okay, classes.
Yeah, workshops. School.
School. Oh, yeah, school's a
You
big
want to go to school?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, no, don't go to school. No, you need to go to school, even if it's trade school. But the reason why people pay so much for the education is not really for the education. It's for the people that you're sitting next to in class.
I agree. Like a person that, so I follow a couple entrepreneurs that went to Harvard. All I hear is drinking, party, whatever. But they all tell you they only went there for the network because they have the networks of millionaires just from going to the school. Whatever their degree is, they don't even tell you what it is.
And the same for HBCUs. That's why like going to HBCU is important because as you can see, when you get out of that HBCU, there's not really a lot of us in certain spaces. But when you do find those folks that are in those spaces or even in the sorority or fraternity, that creates a type of connection automatically. So even though, you know, you went to Howard or whatever.
Family went to
family
HBCU.
went to HU. So
Yes.
but still, like the fact that we can have a conversation about HBCUs.
It's a connection.
It's a connection.
Oh.
So, and even with Howard and Hampton, like I met some Howard folks, but we still keep in touch and we help each other along the way too.
So building connection helps you network also.
Absolutely.
So school is worth it.
School is definitely worth it. Yes.
Okay.
I
So-
think it's worth it.
Okay, so we're going to a mixer, we're going to a conference, we're
Yes.
going to this. How do we find out how to network with people there? Do we look them up ahead of time? What do we do?
Yeah, you should. But if you don't, I would say if you're going to like a conference or like that type of space, like look up the speakers, see anyone in your network that's going, you know, it's talk that way. But if you go to an event, now they have like Posh and like Luma, like you can see who's kind of like there once you get invited in or whatever. So you can do research that
I be
way.
creeping. I be in that joint creeping.
I need to turn my, sometimes I just kind of, you know,
I'm like, who's going?
turn my thing off so nobody can see.
I'm like, Desiree going?
Right. No. I mean, if you know, you could text me, but like some folks, I'm like, you know how sometimes when you're going to events and you run into people that you kind of don't want to see.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, ooh,
I got that now. I be like, is he going to be there? I ain't going.
I don't know.
I said, I don't want no smoke with him today. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you got to.
But you got to. But to answer your question, when you first go into a room, there's certain ways you can kind of go about it. So I was at a workshop about this, which is really funny. The first thing is observation, right? So who's in the room? Who's in the room? See who's in the room. If you recognize anybody, then you can start off that way. So you can start the conversation off more comfortable. If you don't recognize anybody, try going to the bar. Don't go in the corner.
Don't ever go in the corner.
Don't go in the corner. Who are you? Why are
Yeah.
you there? Like no. If you're going to a mixer, have goals in the back of your head. Like what are you there to accomplish? Do you need to connect with somebody? Like what are you looking for? Keep that in the back of your head. Have your elevator pitch ready.
Do you reach out to these people ahead of time before you go there?
No,
Okay.
I don't. It just it depends. Like if I already know, cause I got a network. So if I know a network people that are going, I'm like, hey, you going? Not cool. Like especially for like those big conferences like Afrotech,
Yeah, I know it's huge.
Techsgiving. Like there's Roadmap to Billions. Like if whenever this comes out, it might already happen. But Roadmap to Billions. So like when you go to conferences, you meet people. Baddies in tech. So like when you go to these conferences, you meet people, you keep in touch. And in most cases, especially in tech, they will probably be at another event and you'll just kind of continue to cross paths, which is hilarious, but also fun. And it makes it more comfortable.
I've seen the same people like 20 times at this point.
It's, and that's the thing, entrepreneurship, tech, location, like it becomes smaller and smaller the more you start to, do bigger things because you start to get in the same rooms.
Okay, so back to the scanning the rooms, like,
Yes.
how do you make yourself, you scan a room?
Yes.
Say if I'm by myself, like, what do I do to kind of make myself approachable, or how do I approach people?
You can do different ways. Well, because approaching like conversation starters, that's kind of how you start it. So you can start by a compliment. So I'm a fashion girly and you seem pretty fashionable yourself. So starting by, you're welcome.
Made me feel good today.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
good night.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
So when you see somebody, you're like, oh my gosh, I love that hat. Where'd you get it? It's like, oh, this hat, I got it from here. Like that's a conversation starter. So just kind of like starting with a question of some sort, or what brings you to the event, Now, if you're feeling bold, you can just be like, hey, I'm Des. Nice to meet you. What's your name? Like, pleasure. And also it's okay to be like nervous because in most cases, you're probably not the only one that's nervous in the room. Because I'll tell people like, look, I'm tired, but I'm here and I don't know anybody here, but I would love to talk to you more about what you do. If you're at a bar or a mixer, I'd be asking because sometimes they have really good drinks. I'm like, oh, that cocktail looks nice. Like, what you drinking? You know. But if you don't drink, you know, it's fine. You don't have to have a drink or say no. No, I don't drink. But you know, that can be another conversation starter. So those are two that I have.
Okay, okay. You have conversation starts. Like, also, how do your appearances? Do you have to change up your appearance when going to some of these networking events?
Again, it depends on the event.
Oh, gotcha.
It depends on the event. I feel like in the DMV, like you can come pretty casual and it's pretty chill. And I think, and this is something I saw a TikTok about this. Somebody got mad because you know the DMV scene.
Yeah, no.
There's gonna be a DJ every
And
time
alcohol.
and alcohol. So that is also, you can network at a club.
Yeah.
Like you can network when there's DJs around.
I met some good people in those type of environments. You just got to know what you're doing. Like if you're standing in the corner and like
And a weirdo
and recording and not posting, not talking to nobody, that's on you, brother or sister.
Yeah, it's not my problem. But you can turn up and have fun. Like, oh, I'm vibing to this song. Like, let's turn up. And then be like, oh, you know, it just starts. Like, it's supposed to be organic. It's not supposed to feel like, oh my God, I'm getting nervous. I'm talking to this person. I hope they like me or blah, blah. Like, no, just be yourself. Be authentically you.
Okay, so you're going, scan the room, talking to certain people.
Yep.
Are you getting their LinkedIn? Are you getting their number? Or how does it work? Because a lot of people say networking events are dating events now, but I don't know.
Well, again, it all goes back to intention.
Okay.
Because there are people that like, shoot, we talk about Afrotech, a lot of these tech conferences, some people looking for husbands
Ain't
and
no wrong with that.
wives at these events.
I'm looking for one too.
But you asking questions, you know, that's why you ask questions. Not, you know, you trying to be a wife. I don't know about that. You know, you ain't gonna ask that question. But like getting to know them. I mean, it's kind of like dating, except you want to keep it professional. Now let's say we do have the DMV lounge. If we turn up, we vibing. If the setting and the location and the like who's hosting it, right? If like a professional group is hosting the event, you want to keep it professional, right? And maybe if y'all meet up again, you know, maybe you can kind of see where that goes.
Yeah.
But if you're coming there to network and like have goals in mind, I don't think you should think about dating while you're networking because that's two different spaces. And what gets dangerous is if you meet someone and network with them and then it starts to turn into something and then y'all try to, you know, mess around or something. But guess what? DMV is small, so you're gonna run into them again, and it's gonna just keep getting awkward. So you kind of want to avoid like the whole dating thing. Keep it professional. If anything changes, you know, talk about that outside of the event, but don't let that distract you from your purpose, because that's another thing. We talked about alignment and purpose. I mean, you know, we could talk about the Bible, we talk about you know, Delilah.
Yeah.
You know, distractions are around, and usually when you're moving toward your purpose, there will be people that might try to throw you off your square and not even realize it. So you want to be intentional with who you network with and who you talk to, and make sure that you have, you know, good intentions, not just like, I'm looking to get, you know.
So you follow. So you're getting their LinkedIn. So
Yes.
outside of that, you're getting the people's LinkedIn.
We're getting their
numbers.
LinkedIn. We're getting a number. We're using Hey Follow Up.
Okay. Cause that's the main thing, and I was gonna get into that now. Cause it's
Yeah.
like, so what I've been noticing with networking, you have to follow up probably like a day after.
Yes, a day after, 2 days after. I think honestly, you can probably go a week after, as long as you kind of jar their memory of what it is, like how did we meet.
Yeah.
So yeah, it depends.
Cause even with me, like sometimes I get in contact with somebody, but I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I forget. But if you just say, hey, I'm this person, I'm like, oh yeah, I got you, man, what's up? You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, cause I'll be confused, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, for me nowadays, I mean, I use my app to kind of like, it has like a photo, so I remember who they are. It has their email, their number, and it uses AI to like create a message for you, which is awesome. But I also have a mental note, and I put it in my notes, like, okay, I met them, and we're gonna talk because of this.
Okay.
Because most cases, after you meet them and you want to network or like continue to follow up, like you don't remember what were we talking about? You know what I mean? So having like a next steps is usually helpful.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that's probably what led you to create Hey Follow Up, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Absolutely.
Because it was like, because even I told you, I said, whenever you create it, I was like, I need that because I need to follow up because sometimes I forget, you know? Because I used to be like, I used to create an Excel sheet and then I reach out to people, but you get, after a while you forget, because I would put like, I'm gonna reach out at this time. Sometimes you forget.
Yes.
But then pictures too, I don't know.
Exactly. You get all these text messages and you're just like, who is this? Who did I meet? Ironically, when I hosted a speed networking event, in that same like day, somebody texted me. I had no idea who they were. And we both didn't even know who each other were. And we just kind of left it at that because we don't know who we were. But it's like, you want to avoid that at all costs because that could have been a connection or, an opportunity.
Okay, so what was the journey in you creating this app and putting it out there?
Stress. Jesus. Um, The journey started from the conference, Roadmap to Billions. It started, the concept started there. I started writing it out. I had a partner at the time that was helping me with it, kind of putting the pitch deck together. I asked some questions, I asked for some feedback, and I just started pitching. I asked a lot of questions, talked to a lot of professors, just trying to gauge, does this even make sense? Like, what's the problem? What problem am I trying to solve? So I got that, did some pitches, didn't win. I won a couple. I didn't really,
There was
so
one at Thanksgiving I think you should have won too.
here's the thing. You got to have some type of proof of concept,
Oh.
and I had it, but I feel like I needed it to be in the store. So yeah, after that pitch, I kind of took a step back and I was like, all right, Des, we're not pitching until we get this thing done. So I was working full time at the time and I was working on the app. It was a new year, this past January, and I prayed. I was like, Lord, if this is meant to be, send me a sign tomorrow. If I'm really supposed to focus on this app, because I crashed out, because I'm not a tech like app developer. I don't know nothing about that.
Our mutual friend Jeffrey is, and he knows that stuff, but it's a beast.
It's crash out. Crashed out. So I prayed and I said, Lord, what do I do? Like, what's next? So my job the next day, they literally reached out and was like, we're going to give you two options. So long story short, either I would have stayed and been unhappy or give me a severance. So I took the severance. I said, wow, sign still delivered.
But I can still work and get paid. I mean, I can still, work and stuff and get paid and find something.
Right. So I'm like, okay, well, this gives me a little time to focus on this app. So I use a little bit of my severance to get, the beginning, just the things that I knew could be done in a certain amount of time within like a month and some change. And so I got to work February. By like end of February, early March, the app was in the App Store. The process was not easy. Finding developers, definitely got to do more research. I felt like I was turning into a product developer, like a product marketer.
You have to.
Yeah.
To do that.
Product marketer and project manager at the same time, because I had to make sure, like, we need to be on these deadlines. We got to get this done, which I feel like they probably never experienced before.
Mm-hmm.
So but here's the thing, like, I'm very adamant. Like, when I know what the vision is and what it's supposed to be, I'm like, this is not what we talked about. You know what I mean? So the process was stressful. Like, I will probably put together have you heard of like a core? It's called like a.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know nothing about that type
Okay,
of stuff.
well,
At least you can explain.
So it's pretty much a compilation of different videos, but it's kind of like a mini crash out, but it's like a bunch of crash outs at the same time. So I documented my journey of building the app. So I'm probably going to put a compilation together showing the true vulnerabilities of like how hard it is to even get it up. But yeah, so it's on the app stores, it's on iOS and on Android. The journey was very challenging, and there's still bugs. So it's in the app store. I had to give myself grace because I told myself it just needs to be out. The same with this book. I just needed one book to show myself that it can be done. Now that it's done, now that it's out there, I feel like it just kind of opens more doors and opportunities. So yeah, I took a lot of faith, a lot of grace, and I'm looking forward to version 2, which will be coming out soon. But we want to kind of get more users. So that's the goal right now. Is get more users, get perspective. I'm partnering with a user research team now to kind of get more perspective and do more research. So yeah, it's been an interesting, fun journey. And luckily I have a new role now. So I'm able to kind of take a break from it and just kind of focus on real life things. But immediately after work, I'm back on the grind.
So that's an amazing journey. You was doing everything to build this network. Because like I said, the main thing is just following up.
Yes.
You really got $1 million idea, real talk.
Hopefully it'll be $1 billion idea.
I'm sorry, $1 billion.
It should be $1 billion.
Hopefully you don't get no VC.
We will find out.
Yeah, hopefully no VC, because you know how that be.
I'm learning a lot in that space. So I have a lot of good friends and advisors, and I'm just hopeful for what's next.
And from just listening to your journey, God has led you through everything.
Absolutely. It's alignment for sure. Faith over fear, crazy faith. All those things are super, super important to me.
You just gotta trust God. Even like the job situation, you just say, I'm take severance. Like, most people wouldn't take the risk. I know I ain't taking those risks. I'd be like, I'm gonna just, you just gonna give me a pep and I'm gonna get fired. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, yeah. I am a risk taker. Yeah. I've accepted that I'm a risk taker, and throughout each chapter of my life, I've taken bigger and bigger risks. So because of that, I've seen what God has done with the risks that I've taken from like seed form. So God, it's always funny because when God's like, when you tell yourself, okay, Lord, let's take this risk. And God's like, okay, here we go. And do this. And then it's like, okay, well, he shows you that, he'll never leave you or forsake you. So when I took this severance, I was like, all right, Lord, I'm giving you, I literally prayed, and I didn't ask. I told God, I said, I'm taking this severance, but by April, I'm getting a job. It's happening. I'm getting this role and it's going to work out. My app's going to be done. Like, I manifested it, but I also spoke it and sealed it. And me and God were in an agreement. And I kid you not, I got a call April 1st. I got an offer April 6th, and I started working April 16th.
Yeah, because even with God, you got to speak it.
Got to speak it. Not with timid. You have to be firm and like, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, say what you're going to do.
Exactly.
Say with your chest.
Exactly. But also, God, if this is something you want me to do, let me know and I will, trust you. So usually when times it feels like God's not there, he's actually waiting on you. And once you agree and you wait, you just kind of continue to seek his face and seek him and seek him and seek him. And then God will reveal himself in the blessing that you prayed for.
Yes. And then also you got to trust God, because that's what early on, I didn't trust God. But when I started trusting, like even now, if I'm going through hell, I'm like, I trust. It's for a reason. Exactly. It can be to teach you a lesson, show you something in the future that you need. Exactly. And you just got to trust, because he's not going to give you a situation where it's going to be completely fair. That's not anything outside of that's the devil. Yes. But God itself is not going to put you in that situation.
Even with Darius Daniels, because he's a great preacher, but listen, Darius Daniels, he talked about Good Friday. And on Good Friday, it wasn't a good day.
Yeah, it was.
It was a terrible day. It was a terrible day. But he rose up on the, he rose up. But he didn't rose up until, he had to go through what he went through first. And so we all have gone through, not what Jesus went through, but metaphorically, we all have our seasons, like the hills and the valleys. So if God can bring you up, he can also, take you down.
And bring you back up again.
Bring you back up again. So you got to be ready for when it's time to pivot and move, and trust God and your network.
And keep your emotions too, because things happen. The one thing I've learned, I had so much stuff happen. It's to the point now, I'm like, okay, well, what do we do next? I don't got time to dwell on stuff at this point in my life.
Yes.
I really don't.
And it's really funny because even throughout this whole season of from then to now, like nobody really knew what was going on, because I was like,
I didn't know anything.
Exactly. It's like, well, we still gonna keep things going, like according to plan. This is what's gonna happen, and I'm not gonna sulk in it. I'm just gonna keep moving. I'm gonna do my makeup. I'm gonna look good, and we just gonna go out and play me some golf. I'm enjoying myself, and yeah, exactly. I'm on my 8th-ish. That was a theme. So.
Okay. Yeah. Is there anything else you think the audience should know about networking?
Be prepared to get ghosted.
I get ghosted.
It happens. It happens. It's people are still human, and people are busy. So you got to remember, you don't, like, your life does not revolve around, you know what I mean? Like, you're not the priority in someone's life.
You're not.
You are
You
not
gotta
the
understand
priority.
that.
So when you understand, I put in the book, like, you are not the priority in someone else's life. You can't force them to be, like, you can't force yourself to be their priority. You just have to continue to reach out if you feel like you want to reach out, and trust that if you're supposed to meet with them, eventually you will. I've learned that a couple of times. I've seen people that, you know, we were right there, but we never met. And oh, I'll tell you this, because I met Bill Nye. That was so great. I'm always gonna hold that. I met Bill Nye, science guy, the other day.
You did?
I did. It was so
Oh,
great.
I think, man,
I met Bill Nye.
that's amazing. You saw him? Where you seen him?
I did. I saw him at a gala I went to a couple days ago. But I'm saying this because he was talking to so many other people, and I was like, I don't want to, you don't want to bother people, even with speakers at conference. You don't want to bother people. So I said, if we're meant to, meet up, we'll cross each other's paths. And the event ended, and he walked right past me, and I was like, oh my God, you're Bill Nye, and nobody was around. So it was like perfect timing. So just know that if you're meant to see somebody, the world and God will conspire to make it happen when it's meant to happen.
Yeah, it does. So like, I go to events, and somehow I'm always in the area where that speaker was. Like, I just go to the bathroom, that speaker was there. I'm like, what's going on? And I like how you said, like, you're not obligated. Sometimes people, I've dealt with so many people got things they got going on. It can be they sick, they drunk. I'm just being honest with you. It's, just going through hell, and it's just at that time, they don't want to talk to nobody. So only thing you can do is follow up, but if it's meant to happen, come back to you. And you got to learn that, even as an entrepreneur and as a regular person.
Yes, and don't be afraid to follow up again. Like, follow up again, check in, because people are busy. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, can you tell the audience, where can we find you?
At the Book of Days, like the Book of Eli. So TheBookDez, the Book of Days, on Instagram, TikTok. Desiree Jones, or Desiree Video Creative, on LinkedIn. Amazon is the book. Hey, nice to meet you. The Networking Manual. It's on Amazon, Kindle, iBook, Audible, my voice. What else? The app, hey-followup.com. It's in the App Store. It's free. Can't get better than that.
It's free.
It's a free app.
So if it's free, check it out.
Check it out. And, once you reach out, let me know if you like it or not. We have the Instagram at HeyFollowUpApp on Instagram too. So we're building that out now. But big things to come. And, your network is your net worth. But if you don't follow up, you're minimizing your net worth by not maximizing your network. Okay? Lock that in.
Yeah, because even me, I'm working with some potentially university in the future.
Okay.
And the thing about it is, like, you just gotta keep following. Like, for the particular person I'm working with, I followed up her like 4 times. Actually, I'm still following up. She's like, oh, I just went on vacation, but we're gonna do it this day. And I'm like, okay, we'll see.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I be talking to myself.
Yeah.
Oh, am I talking to myself?
But then it'd be funny when they reach out to you like 2 weeks later. They're like, I seen it, but the person I'm dealing with is a little older. So,
Yeah.
But
it's okay. You did it though.
Yeah.
Congrats. I hope it works out. Look forward to whatever's next.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Also, what is your goals for the next 5 years?
My goals for the next 5 years?
Something big. Something that you can speak it that, like, say for example, you want to make $10 million.
I'll make more than that.
Or you want to get 20,000 people on the app. But
I want 1 million people on my app.
Okay.
I want 1 million people on my app. And I want I want 1 million people on my app. And I want businesses to use it as a resource and a tool for their clients. So that's my big goal. And I just want more people to maintain those connections. That's my goal.
Speak it, believe it, see it.
Yes.
That's why I always tell people to say what you want to do.
Yes.
And then lastly, what is one quote you want to leave the audience with last?
Okay. The last quote I'll say is, it's better to create your own path and leave a trail rather than following the path. So,
To create your own path and leave a trail.
yes.
That's good. You create a path and you leave the trail for the next people.
Correct.
Okay, that's good. That's a good quote. I might take that one. Yeah, that's a good quote. Thank you, Desiree, for coming on this Saturday afternoon to come on a podcast. I appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you, Chris, for what you're doing. Keep doing it. you're doing great.
Oh,
And
thank you.
I'm excited for how big it's becoming and how big it's going to get. So consistency is key, and you've been on it.
Yeah.
So if you haven't subscribed or liked it or rated it, do it now. Subscribe. Do a little blink thing. Go ahead, get a little bell. Subscribe, like, go from there.
I appreciate it. You're the first one to actually say subscribe.
Yes.
Usually I'm doing this saying subscribing, but I appreciate you.
Get the knowledge.
Because I want to be the biggest one day.
That's right.
I want to be the biggest. I want to be it's either you're going to be the biggest or the small. I want to be the biggest.
And when I come back, you're going to be even bigger.
Yeah, and you too.
Hey, we're going to keep at it. So this is great.
Well, everybody that's watching the podcast, if you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Write in the comments below. Also, check on the techwokepodcast.com so you can check out some of the merch and support the channel. Also, check out the Patreon. And remember, check out on all podcasts and platforms. Make sure you download and make sure you write a review of how this is helping you because it helps me out. And remember, everybody, get 1% better every day. Peace out. I'll see you on the next one.